When your cat stretches the moment they see you, what do you think it means? Most people assume their cat is simply loosening up their muscles. But that explanation only scratches the surface. Because in many cases, that stretch is actually a message directed at you. Cats communicate in ways that are easy to miss. They don't rely on loud sounds or obvious gestures. Instead, they use subtle movements, body language, and small rituals to express how they feel. If those signals go unnoticed, an important form of connection between you and your cat can slowly fade. And one of the most overlooked signals is that simple stretch they perform right when you walk into the room. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a physical movement. But timing tells a different story. If stretching were only about stiff muscles, it would happen randomly throughout the day. Yet many cats seem to perform it precisely when their owner appears. That timing suggests the stretch is tied to social interaction. Behaviorists often describe this kind of movement as a relaxed greeting. When cats feel safe and comfortable around someone, they allow their body to loosen in that person's presence. Stretching exposes the belly, extends the limbs, and lowers physical tension. In the animal world, those actions signal trust. A tense or frightened cat keeps its body compact and ready to move. A cat that stretches openly is demonstrating the opposite. Your presence makes them feel comfortable enough to release that tension. Another interesting detail is that this behavior often becomes stronger over time. Domestic cats have spent thousands of years living alongside humans, and during that time, they've developed ways to communicate specifically with us. Some of the behaviors we see today didn't originally exist in the same form in wild cats. Researchers studying animal cognition have observed that domestic cats use certain signals more frequently when interacting with humans than when interacting with other cats. These behaviors evolve because they produce results. When a cat performs a gesture and receives attention, comfort, or interaction in return, that gesture becomes part of their communication toolkit. Over time, stretching near a person can become one of those learned signals. In a way, your cat has discovered a reliable way to get your attention. There's another layer to this behavior that many people never consider. Cats carry scent glands in several parts of their body, including areas around their paws. When they stretch and press their paws into surfaces nearby, those glands can release tiny scent markers. Humans can't detect them, but to other cats, those markers carry information about territory and familiarity. If your cat stretches on the couch where you sit or near the place you usually stand, they may be reinforcing that space as part of their safe environment. It's not an aggressive form of territory. It's more like labeling something as part of their trusted world. When you're included in that environment, the behavior becomes even more personal. Something else owners often notice is that their cat stretches more around certain people than others. This doesn't happen by accident. Cats form selective bonds with the individuals they feel most comfortable around. Those bonds develop through consistent experiences, predictable behavior, and a sense of safety. When a cat repeatedly stretches in front of one particular person, it can reflect that relationship. They may make more eye contact with that person. They may follow them more often. And small gestures like stretching appear more frequently in their presence. It's simply the cat showing where their comfort level is highest. If your cat seems to reserve that behavior mostly for you, it's usually a sign that your presence carries a special level of familiarity. There's also a specific moment when many cats perform this stretch more noticeably. Morning. Many owners wake up to see their cat stretching nearby as soon as they open their eyes. Cats are naturally most active during early morning and evening hours. During the night, they may spend time quietly observing their environment while their human sleeps. By the time you wake up, your cat has already been aware of the room for hours. When you open your eyes or move for the first time, the stretch often appears. In that context, the movement can function almost like a greeting ritual. A signal that the quiet nighttime period has ended and the social part of the day is beginning. If you pay attention, you might notice that your cat rarely performs this exact sequence for unfamiliar people. The behavior tends to appear when the cat feels secure. Another situation where stretching appears frequently is directly in a person's path. You might be walking through the hallway or heading toward the kitchen when suddenly your cat stretches right where you need to step. At first it feels like bad timing, but cats are very aware of movement patterns within their home. They know where people walk. They know which spaces are used frequently. By stretching in that location, they place themselves in a spot that naturally draws attention. In other words, they've positioned themselves where interaction is almost guaranteed. Most people pause, look down, speak to the cat, or briefly acknowledge them. From the cat's perspective, the strategy works. They received the interaction they were looking for. However, some owners notice something different. Their cat rarely stretches when they enter the room. If that's the case, it doesn't automatically mean the bond is weak, but it can reveal something worth observing. Cats repeat behaviors that consistently produce results. If a cat stretches near someone and receives attention, the behavior becomes reinforced. If the gesture is ignored repeatedly, the cat may eventually stop using that signal. In other cases, the environment itself may influence the behavior. A home with loud sounds, unpredictable activity, or frequent disruptions can make cats hold their bodies more tightly. When a cat feels uncertain, their posture becomes more guarded. Stretching requires relaxation, and relaxation only happens when the cat feels secure in their surroundings. There's one important thing to watch for as well. If your cat normally stretches frequently when they see you and that behavior suddenly disappears, it could indicate a change in how they're feeling. Cats often adjust their body language when something in their environment shifts. Stress, illness, discomfort, or changes in routine can all affect how relaxed they appear. Because cats rarely vocalize those problems directly, small shifts in everyday habits can be one of the earliest signs that something is different. Observing those patterns closely helps you notice when your cat might need attention or care. At its core, that simple stretch your cat performs when they see you is not random. It's part of a quiet language cats use to communicate comfort, familiarity, and connection. Most people see it as a routine movement and move on. But when you understand what that gesture represents, it becomes something more meaningful. A small moment where your cat is telling you they feel safe enough to relax in your presence. And in the world of cats, that level of trust speaks louder than almost anything else they do.